What's going on, people? Kagey here with another match reaction. Just nothing set up here. Just grab my phone and let's just go. Cause tonight it was appalling. It was appalling tonight. We're talking Leeds United 1, West Ham United 2. And for me, these are the games that when you come up from the Championship, you've got to look at and get points from. These are non-negotiables in terms of when you're at home, you've got to take points from these games. And tonight, hardly anybody showed up. There was no drive. There was hardly any creativity. I know we had a chance to equalise at the end, but again, that's too little, too late. And I'm not being reactive here when I talk about this game because it was poor. It was poor today, and I know I'll feel the same way in a few days, so I might as well just do this now because it was poor today. I love Jack Harrison, and I know Bielsa likes to play people until they get their form back, but he could do with a game or two out and try something different there because it's just not working at the minute for Jack. He'll come good eventually, I know he will, but maybe he just needs a game or two out for now. LUFC, he's just not good enough for me. I'm trying to be nice about it because I like the guy. But for me, when you're talking about a Premier League player, LUFC isn't one. Not for where we want to go. And I know the aim of the game is to survive, but you've got to take points from these kind of games in order to survive too, so it works both ways. Liam Cooper played a fantastic ball for Bamford, who won the penalty for Click to convert it on the second time of asking. But again, his marking for the second goal, for the second West Ham goal, that's just not good enough. And we're struggling from set pieces as it is. He would probably be, out of the defenders available, our strongest there. So he has to do better there. And this is what I'm talking about. I knew when we came up, we were going to have new players. For me, I always thought that we was going to get a couple of defenders, and granted, Koch, I've been told by Tommy, shout out to Tommy, is the correct saying, so it's Koch. So Koch and Llorente are out at the minute. And that leaves us with Liam Cooper having to play. I've said all along I would love to have seen Koch and Llorente together because I feel like that's going to be more of a viable partnership in the Premier League going forward. But, we saw the good and bad of Liam Cooper today, and it's not going to be good enough in the long run. He might have a good game against Newcastle, granted, but this isn't consistency. This isn't a consistency needed at this level. For me, what was glaringly obvious to me, and I know a few others agreed with me online, is that the difference between Rodrigo and Rafinha and some of the other guys that carry the ball is just so blatant to see. You're talking about two players of absolute quality, and you can see when they get in the ball, one touch, two touch, flicks around, passes forward, along with Calvin Phillips. Some of the other players just aren't at that level. So when things don't work well, when the system doesn't work, it breaks down. It looks really ugly. So we have to address that as well going forward. I'm more than satisfied in terms of the squad for this season, for what we're aiming to do. But when the summer comes, I expect to see some changes because you can't keep players on sentiment, and I think a few of these players are here on sentiment, and no Bielsa works a certain way, and I'm with that, but you can't keep players on sentiment. It's just not good enough. Taking off Bamford, maybe he's got an eye on the Newcastle game, but bringing on Tyler Roberts, I've said all along, I've been consistent with it too. I think Tyler Roberts could do the loan out to the Championship, get himself a run of games and be the main man somewhere, and maybe come back and fire, but this isn't the time. And when he came on, I wasn't expecting anything that he would have got would have been a bonus. So, it's just a disappointing night, disappointing performance. I'm trying to think of other things. I thought Luke Ayling had a really good game. Luke Ayling is one that has stepped up and been perfectly fine, and he kind of knew that he would. He's come through the hard way. He was in the Arsenal academy. He you could tell he was going to be about him, whether he's played right back or centre back. He's been fine, so I don't worry about him. Maybe I should have set this thing up. It's all wobbly, but this is how you're getting it today, because I'm not setting this up just to do this on Monday, because I feel the exact same way. We take the loss today and move on to Newcastle Wednesday, and for me, they have to win that game. I expect to see the old zip and energy that we've seen in previous weeks, because I'm not panicking over this game. I see online, and then you just have to click offline, man, because people just lose their heads. But before the Chelsea game, where we were outclassed and, you know, they deservedly won, we'd beaten Everton away, and we had, you know, battered Arsenal to the point where we should have won. So this isn't a crisis time, but it's just disappointing. I cannot, you know, stress that enough about tonight's result. It was just not good enough. Melier should have done better for the first goal, granted, but again, the kids kept us in the game and kept the score down with some terrific saves. You know, the defence in front of him has got to do better. Maybe take out, you know, Cooper and put in Struijk in the next game. I would be all for that, but he's a club captain, so he'll probably play. And again, this isn't nothing against Liam Cooper, but I just don't have sentiment for players in that way anymore. You know, I love players that are doing well for my club, but if you're not up to it, I don't feel anything for you. You know, it's a club first thing for me. I want to see my club do well, because in 5 years' time, Liam Cooper's not going to be here, but Leeds United will still be here. So it's not about, you know, a hate campaign, not even close. I just want to see Liam Cooper as maybe on the bench in the next game. Give Struijk a go next to Ayling. See how you go then. But Helder Costa, when he came on, Bielsa made the right choices, absolutely, taking Alioski and Harrison off for Costa and Shackleton. But Costa just did not get in the game, and he gave away a couple silly free kicks, which were just so frustrating, you know, because as the statistics show and as the eye test shows, we are terrible at defending set pieces. So the last thing we need is to give away cheap free kicks. So that does not help. And I thought Helder Costa would come on with a point to prove after losing his place to Rafinha. I thought he'd come on and really want to show something, but it just didn't happen that way today. Trying to think of anything else from the game. It's tough. It's tough. It is tough. Yeah, I saw online a couple of people talk about Declan Rice versus Calvin Phillips, but in all fairness, and with all, you know, bias taken out of it, Calvin Phillips was more visible and more on the ball on the eye test anyway, to me, than Declan Rice was. I saw Declan Rice had a good passage of play maybe once or twice, but in the main, it wasn't even close to a Declan Rice versus Calvin Phillips affair, you know. I think people just want to get carried away with that, because it's the whole one position for the England team, and, you know, I guess that will sell papers and give you clicks, so go ahead and do that stuff, man. But yeah, I didn't think West Ham were overly spectacularly good today. I just thought that we were overly poor, and that's the main overriding feeling, man. This was a Friday night game and we've lost them, and so I got a weekend just to stew on this result. Cheers, Leeds. Cheers. Have to get it right for Newcastle. Have to. The way Newcastle United play, they shouldn't even be able to lay a glove on this team. So I expect adjustments to be made. I expect Bielsa to work his magic and get something in these players to just wake them up, because Chelsea was understandable. You know, you're going up against a near world-class team. Tonight wasn't understandable. I can't forgive tonight's performance or even understand where it came from in terms of the lack of energy and the lack of drive. I just can't understand it today. So we move on to Newcastle Wednesday. Hopefully the result is better and the performance is better, because tonight was a stinker. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Kagey out.